Welcome back to Week 4, Lesson 1-3 of Peer-Guided DBT Lessons, provided by DBT Skills application Peers Helping Peers. Before we get started with this week's lesson, we want to once again remind everyone we are simply peers helping peers working together to make all of our journeys more positive, rewarding, and fulfilling. In this week's lesson of the Mindfulness module, we will be studying the how skills. In order to mindfully practice the what skills of DBT, we need to know how to do it. How do we put into practice these what skills we studied last week? Jon Kabat-Zinn, PhD, founder of the world-renowned mindfulness-based stress reduction clinic and the Center of Mindfulness in Medicine, Healthcare, and Society at University of Massachusetts, defines mindfulness in this way. Mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. In other words, non-judgmentally, one mindfully, and effectively. Non-judgmentally. The reason non-judgment is used is because left alone, the brain will automatically judge things as good or bad, right or wrong, fair or unfair, important or unimportant, urgent or non-urgent, and so on. This happens so fast that our experiences are automatically colored right when we get them. Mindfulness is about being aware of that and taking a fresh perspective. Judgment is our perceived values, learned from past experiences. An example, using a banana to help illustrate this. Look at the different stages from green to brown. Where does your gauge arrow point? Which bananas in the chart are good and which are bad? What assumptions led to this judgment? Which judgment or value assessment is accurate? It depends on what caused us to judge it that way. To the cook, all the bananas are good. To a person with an allergy to them, all of them are bad. Non-judgmental mindfulness opens the door to see things from different perspectives. As illustrated with the banana, next time you see one, don't judge it. It's just a banana. Doing something one mindfully is doing one thing at a time. The essence of mindfulness is acting with undivided attention. One mindfully is the discipline of doing one thing at a time with awareness. When thoughts are racing, concentrating on one thing slows the mind. Doing one thing at a time decreases anxiety by focusing the mind on one thing, pushing from one's mind preoccupations and worries. Mindfulness brings your attention back to the present moment. Doing something one mindfully is the opposite of multitasking. Multitasking is something we do because we're concerned that we'll miss out on doing something else, or we're trying to be hyper-efficient. Research has proven that multitasking is a myth. We think we're multitasking, but we're actually switch-tasking, stopping a task each time to begin another. Studies have shown that tasks take longer to complete when we try to multitask. Practice one mindfully behavior by consciously choosing to do one thing at a time. Here are some tips to help us on down the path to becoming one mindful. Do one thing at a time. This includes your thoughts. Think about the task in hand rather than other things. When you are worrying, worry. Don't let yourself worry when you are trying to do other things one mindfully. If you find yourself distracted, observe, then return to being one mindful. Being one mindful is sustaining your attention in the present moment and will help to improve your concentration. Being mindful effectively is the act of applying mindful concepts, learning and honing our practice. To be effective means that we progress and strengthen our mindful muscles as we move along. As we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of the spaces between our thoughts and our actions, giving ourselves a newfound ability to reduce impulsivity. Becoming more skillful at the practice of mindfulness enhances our ability to effectively reduce judgment of ourselves and others, let go of emotions that hinder us, and to nurture our sense of compassion. The act of beginning again when we notice our mind wandering is an effective act that strengthens our resilience. It cannot be emphasized enough. The key to this and to any new skill is practice. And the great thing about mindfulness is that it's nice to do. It can take as little or as much time as you like, and it brings a sense of peace, a clearer head, and a greater focus. Practice, practice, practice. Next week's lesson in the mindfulness module, we'll be looking at skillful uses.